just got the Weebill 2 from ZHIYUN. I am very excited to try this gimbal out. So we're gonna go ahead and do an unboxing, look what we get inside. So one thing I really like is they have like the official sticker. It seems kind of small on the detail there, but I like how these like foil hologram stickers give a very more authentic feel to the product. So that's just like a nice little touch. So we're gonna open this. Alright, so first thing we have our little manual. So we get a service card, and then we get the quick start guide. Oh, look at that. Let's look at the contents. Right. Like their other gimbals, comes in a nice dense foam carry package. And here we go. We have our tripod feet. We have a base plate height extender. We have our quick release plate. Lens support. Right here. Then we have our box of assorted cables here. Let's see what cables are here. Right. So we have extra 1/4-20 threads. This is for the quick release plate right here. So it's nice they give you 3. As far as cables, we have a USB-A to USB-C, USB-C to USB mini, USB micro to USB-C, USB-C to micro again, and C to C. We have a wide variety of USB cables depending on what camera you're going to be using with the Weebill 2. Last thing, the Weebill 2 itself. First thing I notice is compared to like the Weebill S here, it's definitely a lot more solid feeling, a little bit heavier, but solid as in feels like a good quality product. So we're going to go ahead and stick the feet on here and start setting it up. I will be using the Canon R6 on it today on this unboxing to try this out. That's really cool, little monitor. So first thing I'm going to do is get my camera, and then we're gonna stick the quick release plate on here. Now, one thing about the Weebill S that I've been using, it can support the R6 with a long lens like this one here, but there are certain times where it could handle it a little bit better. So with the Weebill 2 here, I'm expecting it to be able to handle this heavier payload a lot easier than the Weebill S did. We're gonna put this in. Now we're also going to go ahead and put the lens support. Why not? Let's see where we have to have that. Now we're going to put this. So this is the first time I'm going to be using this Weebill 2. So initially, I will get my plate and attach it to the camera. Now, as far as position goes, where you want it will all depend on your camera body and lens combination. So in this case, I'm going to keep it slid up a little bit more. Let me get something here to help me tighten it down. And now, if you have trouble balancing it with the way it's positioned, you can always go back and change it later. So there we go. All right, so I have the plate on here, and I'm gonna balance it with the screen out because that is how I would use it. Now, I also want to make sure the cable from the Weebill 2 to the camera is also correct. So in this case, we're going to need a C to the camera, and my camera uses a USB-C. So I'm going to use a C to C cable, which we have right here. I'm going to go ahead and prepare this. Like gimbals, balancing it is crucial. If you have a good balance, the motors don't have to work too hard, and you get the most battery efficiency out of your gimbal if you balance it correctly. So we're going to go ahead and lock in some positions here. There we go. Everything's locked. It's going to be a lot easier to stick this camera onto the quick release plate. Okay, so get this, loosen that up, and just like the other gimbals, there's a thumb press quick release here. Okay, there we go. I'm still locked. Everything is locked. And I'm just gonna eyeball a little bit. Okay, so before we start using the gimbal, we're gonna balance each axis on its own to make sure it's working correctly. So I'm gonna loosen my forward and backwards adjustment, and that is also this first lock up here. So immediately it wanted to go forward. So I'm going to keep sliding it until it doesn't want to go forward anymore. And right about there, that looks balanced. I'm going to go ahead and lock it down. One thing I noticed, this lock is slightly different than the Weebill S, and it's nice. It feels solid. The Weebill S is curved, but this one's straight, but not bad. So we have our forward axis, forward and backwards balance there. Now we're going to do our left to right, our roll axis. So we're going to first unlock that motor, and immediately you can see it wanting to turn. And I've been balancing gimbals for many years, so this is as easy as they come now to balance them. I think that's it. Now see, the Weebill S doesn't have the little imprint here of where the lock and unlock position is. So you only know this is unlocked or locked from the curvature of that thumb lock. Whereas this one actually has a little print there, which is excellent. So we got our forward, roll. Now we want to make sure this part here is balanced as well. So we're going to unlock that. So it rotates. And for this part, I like to find where the center of gravity is for this camera. I'm going to guess it's right about there. I like this. This locks a lot nicer than this one here, where it's like a thumb screw. So that's a nice change. But let's see. Okay, I'm gonna guess right there. Now we're gonna tilt it and see where the camera wants to go. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, that's other way. Actually, my first number I guess was what's the best. That's pretty good. Great. Now we got our USB-C to USB-C in this case, and we're gonna hook it up. Now I always prefer to hook up the USB, and what's nice is that you have your different controls. Now this is the first time I'm using the Weebill 2. I've never used a gimbal with a flip out monitor like that, and that's really nice. I like that a lot. So let's go ahead and power this on. Now, one thing I noticed that's different is that the Weebill S uses the lithium battery that is interchangeable. This has a built-in rechargeable battery, and it's supposed to get like 9 hours runtime and charges, I think, less, like about 1.5 hours or 2 hours to be full. So that's actually pretty good. Now, let's power this on. There we go. So first thing I notice, I don't know if you can see here, there's the screen with the name, and it is in Chinese. So language, all right, English. That's perfect. There we go. All right, now I'm in English here. Now I want to see if you guys can actually see the screen. So that's the screen. That's kind of neat. So you have all your settings in here. Now, just off the bat, that's really balanced. It's really nice. Wow, no problem holding this camera with the lens adapter and a 24-105 lens. That's actually pretty nice. And I like using a variable zoom lens on a gimbal sometimes, because you can quickly add a different look to your shot without having to take the camera off, change the lens, and then rebalance the gimbal. So having something like this that handles the weight no problem is really nice. Now, with the Weebill S here, I don't think it would be able to handle the same. So we'll power this on. Now, with a nice lighter setup like this, the Weebill S has been a great run gun kind of video setup for me. Now, with the Weebill 2, this is definitely going to be the beast of the two here. So the Weebill S, a little bit more lightweight, a little bit more compact, still has a nice form factor, and the Weebill 2 here, a little bit beefier, has a bit more nicer build quality, and of course this flip out monitor is really nice here. Now, without going into too much details, this is my first time using it, like I mentioned. It looks really good. I like this joystick here. That's different. Oh, look at that. That's great. And no issues at all. Wow, that's really cool. Now, I didn't get the combo with the video transmitter and the remote. That is definitely something I would look forward to getting in the future, and using that setup with a remote operator. So then this way you could have one person operating the gimbal, then you have another person operating the camera from wireless. So one thing I really like about the Weebill 2 compared to the Weebill S is this form factor and this nice flip out monitor. I like how I could easily go into my menus here, select all these options for fine tuning, parameters, balance checking. It's really nice. We got built-in time lapse, motion lapse. We also have auto calibration, follow focus motor control wheel. So we have all of our adjustments in there. And yeah, wow, this is just packed full of so many features I can't wait to try. Overall, compared to the Weebill S, the Weebill 2 is definitely an excellent upgrade to the Weebill S. Now, I'm still going to use the Weebill S for when I'm going to need a camera for a light run and gun setup, when I need something to handle a bigger body, have a bit more features and control. Definitely I'm going to be using the Weebill 2 here. So I hope you liked this unboxing video and this comparison with the Weebill S and the Weebill 2. Thanks for watching.
Herzlich willkommen zum heutigen Video. Das hier ist ein Kamera-Gimbal, das kann man relativ einfach sehen. Das ist der WEEBILL-2 von der chinesischen Firma ZHIYUN. Zunächst mal wichtig ist ja, wenn man so ein Ding in die Hand nimmt, dann hat man ja gleich ein Gefühl. Und das hier ist wirklich sehr robust, sehr griffig, fühlt sich super, super gut an. Ergonomisch sehr schöne Gummierung, die sehr griffig ist. Das Ganze ist aus Metall, sehr, sehr hochwertig. Das war so eins der ersten Dinge, die mir aufgefallen ist, dass dieses Teil sehr hochwertig ist. Ich kann diesen Griff hier hinten, den ich für diesen Underslung-Mode verwenden kann, den kann ich einfach abklacken. Ich kann den als normalen Gimbal verwenden, wenn ich das Stativ hier unten zusammenklappe. Das kann ich auch abmachen. Normalerweise kann man es abschrauben. Ich habe hier so ein Quick-Release-Ding dran. Das würde ich jetzt nicht mehr verwenden, aber wenn ich das hier dran mache, dann habe ich eben eine sehr kompakte Bauform, wie man sehen kann, und kann hier sehr schön mit diesem ziemlich kompakten, aber trotzdem sehr starken Gimbal arbeiten. Das stecke ich mir in die Hosentasche und wenn ich es brauche, zack, dran und kann das Ganze wieder hinstellen. Ich werde euch übrigens hier nicht haufenweise Test-Footage zeigen. Das ist total langweilig und ganz ehrlich, im Jahr 2021 kann man davon ausgehen, dass jeder Kameragimbal mittlerweile so gut ist, dass der natürlich stabiles Bildmaterial liefert und nicht irgendwie komisch rumzittert und tralala. Der Weebill 2 ist davon natürlich keine Ausnahme. Im Gegenteil, er ist tatsächlich noch mal besser geworden als seine Vorgänger und so weiter und so fort. Jeder Gimbal, den du heute kaufst, ist besser als der, den du gestern gekauft hast. Das ist üblich und normal, das ist bei allen technischen Dingen so. Der hat einen neuen Chip drin und neue Algorithmen und kann deshalb, obwohl er eine sehr kompakte Bauweise hat, was ich sehr, sehr schätze an diesem Gimbal, ein Grund, warum ich mir den überhaupt näher anschaue, obwohl er eine sehr kompakte Bauweise hat, kann er etwas, was viele seiner Vorgänger nicht so gut drauf hatten. Er kann Kameras bis zu rund 4 Kilo tragen. Das ist so die offizielle Aussage, wahrscheinlich ein bisschen mehr. Aber das Gesamtgewicht ist gar nicht so kriegsentscheidend. Viel entscheidender ist, kann er denn mit dieser Kopflastigkeit der spiegellosen Kameras umgehen. Die spiegellosen Kameras, auch wenn es eine R6 ist, sind tendenziell verhältnismäßig leicht, leichter zumindest, als früher die Spiegelreflexkameras. Und dadurch werden diese Kombinationen aus Linse und Kamera häufig kopflastig. Und das konnte sein Vorvorgänger, der erste Weebill, tatsächlich nicht sonderlich gut. Da ist man ständig da hier hinten an den Motor angestoßen, wenn man die Kamera hier gekippt hat. Da ist das Sucherteil, das Auge, ist an den Motor gestoßen. Das hat einfach nicht funktioniert. Funktioniert bei dem jetzt tadellos, kommen wir gleich dazu. Man kann hier jede Achse arretieren bzw. lösen. Das Schöne dabei ist auch, dass diese Arretierungen wirklich stabil sind und halten und sich nicht wie bei meinem anderen Gimbal permanent lösen. Dann habe ich hier einen Ausschalter natürlich und damit schalte ich das ganze Ding an. Und wahrscheinlich habe ich jetzt nicht lange genug drauf gedrückt. Genau, da muss man ein paar Sekunden drauf drücken. Und dann leuchtet das hier so schön und dann ist der eingeschaltet. So, kann man sehen, der ist jetzt eingeschaltet. So. Ich bin jetzt hier im Pen-Follow-Mode. Und dann kommen wir auch gleich dazu. Die drei wichtigsten Modi, nämlich Pen-Follow, also stabil in dieser Achse, stabil in dieser Achse und Mitzieher in dieser Achse. Der Lock-Mode, wo alle Achsen gelockt sind. Und der Follow Mode, wo sich diese Achse mitbewegt und diese Achse mitbewegt, aber diese Achse stabil ist, die kann man hier über einen, ich nenne es mal Schnellschalter einstellen. Das ist ganz praktisch, wenn man Rechtshänder ist, kann man da quasi mit dem Daumen dran gehen. Außerdem hat sie auf der Seite noch einen Joystick, mit dem kann ich den Gimbal nochmal steuern, rauf, runter, links, rechts. Für den Rechtshänder alles sehr gut angebracht, für mich als Linkshänder total unbrauchbar, ist aber für mich auch nicht schlimm, um ehrlich zu sein, weil ich diese Funktionen selten verwende. Außerdem habe ich hier noch einen Aufnahmeknopf, wenn die Kamera mit dem Gimbal verbunden ist, kann ich die Kamera darüber ein- und ausschalten. Wenn ich hier vorne an dem Knopf, da ist nochmal so ein Knopf, wenn ich hier doppelt draufklicke, dann komme ich wieder in die Ausgangsposition, aber das ist auch nichts Neues. Das Übliche, wenn ich hier dreimal drauf drücke, dann gehe ich in den Selfie-Modus und kann mich selbst filmen. Brauchen wir ja heutzutage alles. So, wenn ich wieder dreimal drauf drücke, komme ich wieder zurück. Alles Schnickschnack, nichts Besonderes. So, das Besondere an diesem Gimbal ist aber, klack, klack, ein ausklappbares Display. Um ganz ehrlich zu sein, auch das hat ZHIYUN nicht erfunden. Das hat es bei anderen Gimbals auch schon gegeben, Touch-Displays, was wirklich super praktisch ist. Gibt nicht viele, die das haben, aber der eine oder andere hat es auch. Allerdings viel, viel kleiner. Das hier ist ein wirklich relativ großes Display. Ungefähr, naja, ein bisschen kleiner als mein Kameradisplay, aber ziemlich groß, sehr gut sichtbar. Für mich leider nicht ohne Brille. Und hier drüber kann ich tatsächlich den Gimbal 100% jeden Firlefanz einstellen und brauche keine App. Ich muss ja nicht mit einer App konnektieren, was mich persönlich häufig nervt. Ich kann hier also die Modi einstellen, indem ich hier einfach mir einen Modus aussuche. Es gibt den Pen-Follow, habe ich schon gesagt, den Lock-Mode, den Follow-Mode. Das sind die drei Modi, die ich über den Schalter einstellen kann. Es gibt aber auch noch einen POV-Mode. Das ist dann ein Modus, wo alle drei Achsen sich bewegen. Da kann ich sehr dynamische Sachen mitmachen. Es gibt einen Porträtmodus, da kann ich dann hochkant filmen, aber auch nur in dieser Halterung. Ob man das alles braucht, sei dahingestellt. Es gibt einen Go-Mode. Dieser Go-Mode ist für Sportaufnahmen. Wenn man sehr schnelle Mitzieher hat, dann reagieren einfach die Motoren anders. Und es gibt diesen Vortex-Mode, den kennt man wahrscheinlich auch. Da kann man dann diese Barrel-Roll-Aufnahmen machen, die hin und wieder ganz schick sein können. Was mir extrem gut gefällt, ist, ich kann hier einen Balance-Check machen. Das heißt, wenn ich den Gimbal ausbalanciert habe, muss ich ja gucken, dass das alles vernünftig balanciert ist. Und wenn die Anzeige so ist, wie sie hier ist, nämlich alle Striche, alle Motorkalibrierungsstriche sind in der Mitte, dann ist alles gut. Dann ist der sauber kalibriert, sauber eingestellt. Wenn ich jetzt hier eine Überlast hätte, dann würde sich das sofort auswirken, der einen oder in der anderen Richtung. Und man würde sehen, wo das Problem ist. Finde ich sehr, sehr gut. So kann ich sehen, alles wunderbar. Mit dem zusammen gibt es auch eine Funktion, die nennt sich Auto Calibration. Da kann ich nämlich hergehen und kann einfach hier drauf drücken. Dann dauert das ein paar Sekunden. Währenddessen macht er auch komische Vibrationen und eiert da so ein bisschen rum. Das ist aber völlig normal. Da werden nämlich die Motoren auf das aktuelle Gewicht, auf die aktuelle Situation eingestellt. Und zwar so, wie es offensichtlich optimal ist. Das war es dann schon und damit habe ich den Gimbal quasi optimal eingestellt. Natürlich kann ich in die Parameter eingreifen. Ich kann hier noch die Motor-Settings, die Smoothness, also die Weichheit oder wie schnell die Motoren reagieren, etc. etc. Das kann ich alles einstellen. Gehe ich jetzt nicht im Detail drauf ein. Ich kann das Control Wheel, das ist das hier an der Seite, einstellen. Ich kann einen Follow-Focus-Motor einstellen, den kann ich separat dran montieren. Das ist dieses Teil hier, den kann ich hier dran montieren. Dann kann ich quasi über das Rad den Fokus pullen. Dazu brauche ich allerdings diesen Videotransmitter, der im Pro-Package dabei ist. Es gibt insgesamt 4 Packages. In Deutschland, glaube ich, gibt es aktuell nur 3, aber es gibt generell 4 Packages. Und zwar, ich lese das ab, das Standard-Package, das Combo-Package, das Pro-Package und das Pro-Plus-Package. Das hier ist erst ab dem Pro-Package dabei. Damit kann ich, wie gesagt, den Follow-Focus oder auch Follow-Zoom bedienen. Ich kann also den Zoom-Mechanismus oder den Fokus-Mechanismus mit diesem Motor bedienen. Ich kann aber mit diesem Videotransmitter auch die Kamera bedienen, beziehungsweise das Bild von der Kamera auf den Monitor bringen. Und das kann ganz praktisch sein, vor allen Dingen, weil ich damit auch ein Active Tracking habe. Das heißt, ich kann Objekte mit dieser Funktion tracken und das finde ich sehr schick. Es gibt natürlich weitere Funktionen wie Timelapse, Motion Lapse, Panorama und so weiter. Und ganz ehrlich, ich benutze sie nicht, deswegen habe ich die auch nicht getestet. Kann man sich aber mal anschauen, aber auch das ist eigentlich nichts überragend Neues. Das haben viele Gimbal, das haben die meisten Gimbal eigentlich. So. Am Schluss gibt es noch eine Möglichkeit, die Sprache einzustellen, Chinesisch und Englisch. Und ich kann hier drüber auch ein Firmware-Update machen, entweder über das Handy oder über den Computer. Ja. Mehr gibt es dazu eigentlich nicht zu sagen. Wenn ich den Monitor nicht brauche, dann kann ich den hier einfach umklappen, ranklappen und dann ist der hier verpackt. Eine Sache, über die immer wieder viel geredet wird bei dem Gimbal, ist die Tatsache, dass er keine austauschbaren 18650 Akkus hat, sondern einen fest verbauten Akku. Im ersten Moment dachte ich, das ist aber doof. Der hält auch nur 9 Stunden, maximal, wahrscheinlich in der Realität eher 6 Stunden, aber bei den 18650 Akkus machst du einfach Akku raus, neue Akkus rein, kein Problem, kannst du tauschen. Dafür musst du die auch mitschleppen und du musst welche haben. Hier ist der Akku, wie gesagt, fest verbaut und das klingt im ersten Moment nach einem Nachteil, aber du kannst den Gimbal mit einer Powerbank laden und zwar auch während des Betriebs. Das heißt, du schließt einfach die Powerbank per USB-C an den Gimbal an, steckst sie dir in die Hosentasche oder in die Jackentasche und kannst den Gimbal verwenden, während er geladen wird. Also auch kein Problem. So, kommen wir jetzt mal dazu, was mich an dem Gimbal am meisten überrascht hat. Und dazu muss ich mal unter den Tisch greifen. Das ist tatsächlich die Tasche. Jetzt werdet ihr denken, was redet der Alte? Doch, aber es ist wirklich so. Diese Tasche ist extrem hochwertig. Die ist ganz toll, ist sehr kompakt. Und trotzdem bekommst du den Gimbal ohne großes Getue in diese Tasche rein. Dazu machen wir mal die Kamera vom Gimbal runter. So, dann lösen wir dieses Teil hier, die Platte runter, klappen das noch ein, klappen das hier ein, zack, 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 machen das Teil hier unten ab und dann bleibt das hier übrig. Das ist schon mal eine sehr kompakte Geschichte. Und diese kompakte Geschichte passt einwandfrei in diese Tasche rein. Und zwar ohne viel Brimborium. Natürlich müssen wir das hier hinten noch abmachen. Das habe ich vergessen. So, und schon passt das Ganze ganz prima hier rein. Das da rein. Das kann man auch noch reinpacken. Und auch das kann man noch reinpacken. Tasche zu. Und fertig ist das Reisepaket. Und das wird man vielleicht nicht glauben, wenn man sowas noch nicht gebraucht hat, wenn man seinen Gimbal irgendwie immer zusammengebaut transportiert. Aber wenn man seinen Gimbal häufig transportiert, ist das wirklich, wirklich sensationell. Weil was man häufig bei Gimbal hat, sind solche Styroporboxen. Wenn man das Ding da einmal ausgepackt hat, kriegt man es nicht mehr rein. Meine persönliche Erfahrung, deswegen mag ich die Dinger überhaupt nicht. Aber die Tasche hat mich nicht nur sehr gefreut, die hat mich auch total geflasht. Ich weiß, das klingt komisch, aber es ist tatsächlich so, es ist mein Highlight in dem Gimbal. Nebst der hochwertigen Bauweise, nebst der sehr kompakten Bauform oder sehr kompakten Abmaßen, bei hoher Leistungsfähigkeit, also mich hat das Ding total überzeugt. Alles in allem eine sehr, sehr runde Sache, wenn man einen Gimbal braucht. Für mich ganz klar momentan best of, außer man müsste jetzt ganz schwere Cinema-Kameras transportieren auf dem Gimbal, dann wird der zu schwach sein. Aber für jede gängige Spiegelreflexkamera, mit Sicherheit, habe ich jetzt nicht getestet, ich habe keine Spiegelreflex mehr, aber für die gängige Spiegelreflex oder spiegellose Kamera, auch mit schweren, großen Objektiven, funktioniert der super, super gut. Ich habe den übrigens hier mit dem 70-200 2.8 getestet, sogar im komplett ausgefahrenen Zustand kann der das Objektiv tragen und das ist wirklich, wirklich sehr kopflastig. Also das ist eine sehr stabile Geschichte, sehr wunderbar. Mir gefällt's. Ja, und für wen ist jetzt dieser Gimbal? Wer ist quasi die Zielgruppe des Gimbals? Wer sollte sich so ein Gimbal kaufen? Also zunächst mal natürlich Leute, die einen Gimbal brauchen, um die üblichen spiegellosen Kameras oder auch Spiegelreflexkameras mit durchaus auch schwereren Objektiven zu stabilisieren. Leute, die einen relativ kompakten Gimbal wollen, also zum Beispiel Travel-Blogger oder generell Leute, die auf Reisen sind, weil, wie gesagt, in dieser kleinen Tasche ist alles drin, nebst dem Transmitter und Follow-Fokus und Kabeln ohne Ende. Man kriegt das auch garantiert noch kleiner gepackt. Man kriegt den Gimbal auch mit den notwendigen Teilen auch sicherlich gut in den Rucksack rein. Also in den Kamerarucksack beispielsweise. Oder draußen dran geschnallt, ist auch kein Riesending. Also für Leute, die unterwegs sind, ist es eine gute Lösung. Und für Menschen, die einfach auch, wenn sie on Location sind, mit kleinem Gepäck unterwegs sein wollen, so wie ich das bin. Ich habe meinen Kamerarucksack, der ist dann relativ voll. Und ich habe den Gimbal in der Tasche und das war es im Wesentlichen. Wie gesagt, mit den anderen Taschen kannst du das vergessen. Da hast du den Gimbal immer irgendwo rumfliegen und alle Einzelteile verstreut. Hier ist alles in der Tasche drin. Super Sache. Also für Leute, die kompakt unterwegs sein wollen und trotzdem relativ große und schwere Kameras transportieren bzw. stabilisieren müssen, das ist genau der richtige Gimbal. Absolute Empfehlung von mir.
Ciao amici, oggi voglio parlarvi dell'ultimo nato in casa ZHIYUN, il WEEBILL-2. Prima di tutto ha un design incredibile, cioè veramente bello. Poi è fatto di materiali solidi, tutto di metallo. Infatti ha un'impugnatura ergonomica che ci dà molta sicurezza e dà l'idea di essere veramente robusto, con dei motori molto grossi, quindi molto potenti. Nella versione base, come quella che ho preso io, è fornito con il trepiede, che è molto comodo, soprattutto per bilanciare il gimbal, ma anche per avere una doppia impugnatura. Doppia impugnatura che si può posizionare anche in quest'altro modo, così da poter tenere diversamente l'impugnatura o per fare riprese rasoterra. In questo video cercherò di fare una carrellata di tutte le caratteristiche di questo gimbal, cercando di mettere in evidenza sia i pro che i contro. Una cosa che ho trovato molto utile è il sistema rapido di sblocco e blocco dei vari assi. È comodissimo da calibrare, ci vuole meno di un minuto, e la cosa bella è che una volta calibrato possiamo mantenere l'impostazione, richiudere il gimbal, e lui ha mantenuto l'impostazione che io ho dato. Il gimbal viene fornito con una piastra sulla quale va montata la macchina fotografica. Quello che personalmente trovo scomodo è il fatto di dover, tutte le volte che voglio utilizzare questo gimbal, avvitare la macchina fotografica. Quindi andiamo a installarlo. Il gimbal è fornito con una serie di cavetti. Andate a vedere esattamente quello che è più consono alla vostra macchina fotografica sul manuale di istruzioni, perché io ho sbagliato, ne ho preso uno che entrava e pensavo fosse corretto, invece non era quello giusto e quindi non mi funzionava correttamente. E collegate quindi il gimbal alla macchina fotografica. Questo che cosa vi consente di fare? Innanzitutto, se lo supporta la macchina fotografica, di essere ricaricata dalla batteria del gimbal, che è una funzionalità molto interessante. E poi di far dialogare la macchina fotografica con il gimbal stesso. Questo perché? Perché io posso azionare il pulsante di scatto e di messa a fuoco direttamente dal gimbal senza dover agire sulla macchina fotografica, perché questo gimbal può anche controllare la messa a fuoco, l'impostazione degli ISO, l'apertura del diaframma, dipende dal tipo di macchina fotografica che avete. Qual è la cosa fantastica che io apprezzo in questo gimbal, che è la novità assoluta? Il fatto di avere un monitor integrato nel gimbal. Un monitor su cui io posso fare impostazioni sia per il tipo di ripresa sia per calibrare la macchina fotografica, cose che un tempo si facevano solo tramite l'app o tramite un menu con un display veramente piccolo dove si faceva un po' fatica a selezionare tutte le informazioni. Accendiamo il gimbal e successivamente accendiamo la macchina fotografica. Ho la possibilità di accedere a più funzioni, ma soprattutto a fare un controllo del bilanciamento. Quindi lui mi fa, come vi dicevo, vedere lo sforzo dei motori. Lo vedo se cerco di fare una trazione in alto e in basso, quali sono gli sforzi. A questo punto posso fare, dopo che ho impostato manualmente, l'autocalibrazione. Che cos'è l'autocalibrazione? Il gimbal inizia ad eseguire alcuni movimenti, vibrazioni su vari assi, per capire quanto è il peso che sta supportando e quindi il carico utile, e tarare i motori con un nuovo algoritmo fantastico in funzione di questo peso. Così alla fine otterrete il gimbal completamente bilanciato per questo tipo di macchina. Andiamo subito a vedere nel menu, che io trovo direttamente sul display, che è bellissimo. Posso andare in Pan Follow Mode, significa che tutti gli assi sono bloccati, quindi vengono stabilizzati, tranne l'asse orizzontale. Quindi se io vado in orizzontale, vedete che la macchina poi assorbe il movimento alla fine, ma su e giù, rotazioni varie, vengono bilanciate, quindi viene mantenuto stabile. Posso andare in lock mode, per cui la macchina è bloccata in questa posizione, tutti gli assi sono bloccati. Cosa vuol dire? Vuol dire che posso fare addirittura un giro di 360 gradi e torno esattamente nella posizione di partenza. Follow mode è la modalità in cui io posso muovere in orizzontale e in verticale assorbendo i movimenti, ma non sono bloccati. È bloccato invece questo tipo di rotazione. Point of view mode è morbido su tutti gli assi, cioè tutti gli assi sono sbloccati ma vengono assecondati in modo morbido. Portrait mode, questa è una funzionalità molto interessante perché mi consente di mettere la macchina in verticale, cosa che di solito si faceva utilizzando una slitta a L o cambiando l'attacco. Con mode è una modalità sportiva in cui il gimbal reagisce velocissimo ai movimenti. Quindi se io devo riprendere un'azione sportiva, mi muovo velocemente, è stabilizzato, ma vedete che si muove molto rapidamente. Infine, Vortex Mode è la modalità Vortex, per cui io, con l'utilizzo del joystick, posso iniziare la rotazione e far ruotare di 360 gradi la macchina fotografica mentre mi avvicino, mentre mi allontano, per ottenere proprio l'effetto Vortex. Ma non è tutto. Queste stesse funzionalità io posso ottenerle anche, non tutte, tramite questa piccola levetta. Ho Pan Follow Mode, Lock Mode e Follow Mode, che sono quelle più utilizzate. Questo perché? Perché io sto riprendendo in Follow Mode, aggancio il soggetto, passo in modalità Lock e l'ho bloccato e a questo punto mi muovo con il soggetto rapidamente. È veramente comodo. Per tutto il resto comunque io ho la possibilità di utilizzare il joystick per muovermi lungo tutti gli assi e questa manopola di rotazione che può essere personalizzata. Nel mio caso l'ho personalizzata per effettuare questo tipo di rotazione. È possibile, in base sempre alla macchina fotografica, utilizzarlo per comandare gli ISO, l'apertura o altro ancora. Se sono in modalità lock come sono adesso, posso manualmente, tengo per 2 secondi nella nuova posizione il gimbal e rimane bloccato. Un'altra funzioni interessanti che io ho all'interno del menu è la possibilità di fare time lapse e motion lapse. Che cosa sono? Il time lapse ovviamente è una serie di scatti fotografici a distanza di tempo prefissato. Io qui posso impostargli, la cosa bellissima, anche la traiettoria per il time lapse, per cui faccio un esempio. Posso dirgli che voglio partire da questa posizione con questa inclinazione, aggiungere una posizione invece intermedia che è questa e infine questa verso l'alto. Vi faccio solo una preview, quindi faccio vedere quindi che cosa farà la macchina fotografica in automatico. Parte da questa posizione, cambia posizione e arriva a quella finale, quindi segue la mia traiettoria nel tempo che voi stabilite, cioè gli dite mettici 2 minuti per fare questo e fai 40 scatti. Lui parte e inizia, dialogando con la macchina, a fare un primo scatto, seconda posizione, secondo scatto, motion lapse. È invece un filmato, una cosa analoga con il filmato, quindi cosa scelgo? Anche qui, punto di partenza, gli dico quanto tempo deve stare in quella posizione prima di iniziare a muoversi, trovo il punto di finale o intermedio, posso mettere n punti, e gli dico quanto tempo ci deve mettersi, gli dico 1 minuto per passare da questa all'ultima posizione, ok? Lui inizierà un video e arriverà in questa posizione. Come ho anticipato prima, questo pulsante trigger è molto comodo perché con 2 clic mi permette di tornare alla posizione di partenza del gimbal, per cui sono in una posizione differente, 2 clic e il gimbal torna in posizione standard di partenza. Se faccio un clic solo e tengo premuto, entro in modalità point of view, che è quella che abbiamo visto prima. Viceversa, se faccio 3 clic, riesco a passare in modalità selfie, 1, 2, 3, per cui il gimbal si mette a riprendere me stesso, il soggetto, sto parlando, 3 clic e torna a filmare in posizione di partenza. Con un clic solo passa in modalità trace. La modalità trace è quella che permette di tracciare il soggetto, quindi aggancia il soggetto e fa sì che venga seguito. Purtroppo è attiva solo se ho il video transmitter, cioè il videotrasmettitore. Questa secondo me è una pecca che ho già segnalato alla ZHIYUN, perché avendo collegato la mia macchina fotografica e avendo qua un monitor mi aspettavo di poter vedere direttamente qui quello che c'è nello schermo e quindi di fare il trace. Invece questa modalità è attiva solo con il video transmitter che va comprato a parte. Mi hanno detto che è una cosa che in futuro cercheranno di implementare senza bisogno del video transmitter. Però è utile perché in quel modo lì io posso attivare anche il gesture control, che significa che se io mi metto di fronte alla macchina fotografica, alzo una mano, riconosce che ho richiesto di seguirmi e quindi da quel momento in poi il gimbal mi segue ovunque io vada. Un'altra cosa molto interessante che io ho trovato di questo gimbal è comunque lo spazio che c'è tra la macchina fotografica e il gimbal stesso. Cioè è impressionante perché in passato a volte in base all'obiettivo che si montava c'era il rischio che toccasse il motore posteriore, invece questo gimbal ha un sacco di spazio. Questo gimbal rispetto alla versione precedente non ha le batterie estraibili e ricaricabili, ma ha la batteria integrata direttamente. È una batteria che dura tanto, dura 9 ore e quindi penso non ci siano problemi. Come ho detto, può caricare anche la vostra macchina fotografica. Qual è il vantaggio indubbio? Che si carica con un cavetto USB, per cui io non ho bisogno di portarmi dietro l'alloggiamento per le batterie e il caricatore. Non ultimo, è possibile controllare il gimbal con l'app direttamente, per cui le stesse funzioni che però abbiamo sul display, quindi sono comode qui, posso averle qua, ma dall'app ho la possibilità di avere un joystick virtuale per cui a distanza io posso collegarmi via Bluetooth e muovere il gimbal. Spero con questo video di avervi dato qualche informazione in più per valutare serenamente se questo gimbal fa o meno per voi. Ciao!
By now we had all sorts of gimbals with all kinds of features, but ZHIYUN is the first one to ever put a massive 2.88 flip-out touchscreen onto one. So let me show you what the all-new Weebill-2 has in store for us and what else is new about it.
What up guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Eddie Bear and today we take a look at ZHIYUN's new mid-tier gimbal, the Weebill-2. With it, ZHIYUN implemented a bunch of bold design changes, so I will give you an overview what comes with it, what performance you can expect from it, and what features it has in store for you. The Weebill-2 can carry a payload of about 3 kilos and it's supposed to have a battery runtime of about 9 hours without the use of any accessories. To see what accessories are available, let me show you what comes with this combo package here. And full disclosure, ZHIYUN was kind enough to supply me with this unit, so I can show it to you. Thanks ZHIYUN for making this video possible.
One positive thing I want to point out right away is the fact that ZHIYUN is not using any kind of unnecessary foam for their packaging. In fact, I prefer these multifunctional carrying cases over the old foamed ones every day of the week. Even the first compartment alone gives you more than enough space to store additional accessories for the Weebill-2. In this one you can find the tripod mount and the additional sling grip, since this is the combo package. In the second compartment, safely tucked away, you can find the Weebill-2. A prominent design change on the Weebill-2 is how the controls are organized. Instead of being aligned in the center of the gimbal, they can all be found on the left side of the grip. Every axis comes with a separate lock, so this makes transport, storage and balancing of the gimbal easier. Aside from its design, the new flip-out 2.88-inch touchscreen of the Weebill-2 is also unique to the gimbal market, and we are going to talk about it in a minute. In the box you can also find a ZHIYUN camera plate and a lens support, which is mandatory if you're a proud owner of a Canon EOS R or an R5. An assortment of cables to connect your camera to the gimbal, and a camera riser plate. By the way, the unfolding front compartment of the bag also contains a shoulder strap. The Weebill-2 would not be a ZHIYUN gimbal without the grip for low-angle shots. To mount it, we only need an Allen key. Take the sling grip, open the lock mechanism, push the release button and remove the mounting plate. Now install the mounting plate right next to the display in the thread. Slide the grip onto the mounting plate and make sure to lock both of the locking mechanisms. Circling back to the display, it can be adjusted in a 75 degrees range with 3 hard stops at 0, 45 and 75 degrees.
There are 2 significant changes I'm excited about with the Weebill-2. One being the built-in battery. This makes its footprint smaller, but at the same time, if you run out of charge, you won't be able to just switch out the battery. ZHIYUN therefore made sure to equip the Weebill-2 with a USB-C quick charge capability that fully charges it within 1.5 hours. The second big change is the industry-leading 2.88-inch flip-out touchscreen. This screen not only lets you adjust every possible setting of the Weebill-2, but also serves as a video monitor where you can check your footage and see ZHIYUN's Smart Follow in action. However, if you're a proud owner of a ZHIYUN Image Transmission Transmitter 2.0, you should not plan on using it on the Weebill-2. In order to fully leverage the 2.88-inch flip-out touchscreen, you need to have also the new ZHIYUN Image Transmission Transmitter AI. I tried to 2.0 and it doesn't work. Since ZHIYUN so far is not selling the AI transmitter separately, I highly recommend you to at least go for the Weebill Pro package, which comes with the AI transmitter. ZHIYUN told me once there are more units available, they will make the AI transmitter available for purchase separately. You can easily switch between the different stabilization modes through the flip out screen, but you can override them with the mode switch located next to the record button. This switch only offers you access to pan follow, lock and follow mode. You can access more features through the flip out screen, but more about that in a minute. The control wheel has a nice resistance and has enough texture everywhere so you can precisely control it no matter how you hold the gimbal. Something I'm not happy about is how the buttons are arranged. For starters, it's impossible to pull focus and adjust framing with just one hand. In order to do that, you have to engage in a weird dual hand control grip, which is super heavy and uncomfortable. In general, I feel they could move all the buttons a bit closer towards the joystick. This would make it easier to control for people like me with smaller hands, while still leave enough space to rest your thumb. I also should point out that this gimbal is meant to be mainly controlled with your left hand. If you're used to adjust framing etc. with your right hand, you will find yourself in a pickle. Now let's take a look at the flip out screen of the Weebill 2 and see what it can actually do for you.
When you power up the Weebill 2 after holding the power button, it will take the gimbal a few seconds to boot up. By the way, the usage of the flip out screen is optional. You can also adjust all the settings of the Weebill 2 with the help of your smartphone through the app. Let me begin this overview by pointing out that if your camera is connected correctly to the Weebill 2, you will get a little camera symbol in the top left corner indicating that you can control the camera through the Weebill 2. The menu is quite simple and well organized into 4 sections. You can either select them directly or scroll through the whole menu in order to select the individual settings. Under mode settings, you can choose between 7 different operational modes: pan follow mode, lock mode, follow mode, point of view short POV mode, portrait mode, go mode, and last but not least the infamous vortex mode.
By the way, portrait mode, which I would love to call bazooka mode, can be comfortably shouldered thanks to the Weebill sling grip.
By the way, here's a pro tip for you. If you successfully want to connect your camera to the Weebill 2, make sure you're using the USB-C connector on the inside of the tilt arm. By heading over to balance check, you can easily spot which of your axes may be off balance. If you don't see any colorful bars, you're perfectly balanced, otherwise you will have to rebalance your gimbal. Under advanced features, you can choose between a variety of creative shooting options like time-lapse, motion-lapse, panorama, and V-mode. In the parameter settings, you can further adjust or optimize your shooting preferences by adjusting things like motor settings, smoothness, follow speed, joystick responsiveness, and deadband. Also easily accessible is the auto calibration feature, which should be conducted every time you change something on your setup. You also can control the assigned ability of the control wheel. You can choose between roll, aperture, ISO, shutter, electronic focus, or follow focus or zoom motor control. You also can adjust the follow focus motor and the zoom motor settings, fine-tune the roll and tilt axes, change the language, pull some device information, and you can enable that the video transmitter is being charged while connected. I know this recording doesn't show it too well, but its brightness and size makes it really easy to control and use even in brightest daylight. After you adjusted all your settings to your liking, you can tuck the display away safely and you don't have to use it if you don't want to.
So what is there overall to say about the Weebill 2? I do like the fact that ZHIYUN was brave enough to try a radical new design and still keep the gimbal lightweight and compact. Especially in combination with the sling grip, we still have the comfortable way of achieving super low angle shots, while paired with the new flip out screen, you get a nice package that almost makes an external video field monitor obsolete. With that said, how do you like the Weebill 2's new design? Are you thinking about an upgrade? Let me know in the comments, and if you liked today's episode, do what people who like YouTube videos are supposed to do. Thank you for watching, and I will see you shortly.
Hello, what up? I hope you have a beautiful and great day. I'm back with another review. Today we're reviewing the ZHIYUN WEEBILL-2. It's a 3-axis gimbal for DSLR cameras, and yeah, I've got this since 29th April 2022, and yeah, now it's January 2023, so I've worked quite a lot with it, and that's the box where it comes in, and that's how it looks if you open it. I'm gonna say it's a great gimbal with some issues, I would say. So it's not the baddest, but now at this point it's gonna cost 500 euros. It's not the best either, I would say. So that's the bottom of the gimbal. You're gonna put this, put him down out. Now it's everything loose, but normally it's fixed. If you can fix it here with these knobs. So now it's tight. And these knobs, you can, maybe you see it, it's a lock and unlock, and you put this thing right here, so it's gonna stand. And yeah, what's also good, can put it right here so it stands, and what's also a cool feature is that you can put this thing here too, so then you can hold it there, or on two sides. Now you can hold it down here and here, and yeah, I've had this here's a wheel, a knob, and I had this with the focus ring, but I think it's my fault. I don't think it's ZHIYUN's fault, but I don't know, it don't work. I think I had the wrong focus wheel, but I don't know why it's not working, because it also was ZHIYUN. So I think they have a special for this one, but I don't know that what I bought don't work. So that was not that good. And I had some issues with camera microphone, so the holding from the microphone, the camera was a little bit shaky, and the gimbal, when I turn it on, it always starts making noise and shaking, and said it was not correct placed. But I have every angle of the three was probably good and perfect made, but I don't know why with my new microphone everything works fine. It's only the microphone that the gimbal can't work with it, and the microphone was on the camera, not on the gimbal. So yeah, that's one point. What's good, it's very good laying in your hand, and the grip is very good. Here you can change your position from the camera angles and stuff like that. That's very good. Here you can start, or here you can record. That's always good. The battery running time is good. It's okay. The older ones, I must say, were a little bit better, but it's running very, very well, I must say that. You can charge it here. Now you're gonna see it here with a power bank if you need more time, or record very, very long, or you forgot to charge it. You can plug it in here, your power bank, and it will charge your battery. That's good. And yeah, weight is a little bit heavy, but I would say it's normal weight with the other DJIs and stuff like that. And yeah, other than that, it's a quite solid, good gimbal. Comes with a lot of cables, and I also use this cable for my focus ring, but it also not working, or worked, I would say. So I put it back here. You can, for a heavier lens, this is there you put your camera on. And yeah, so I'm gonna say now where I'm got warm with it and worked a little bit more with it, it was cool, it was good, but at the beginning I had a little problem. So Now I would say it's okay, it's fine, it's working, does its job. Also when you're running fast or something like that, it's do quite good job. It had a lot of options in it where you can put your camera vertically when you're shooting for Instagram or social media things. You have follow mode, pan mode, so the camera always looks straight ahead or it follows you where you're going. So, but that's different thing. What also is very, very cool, you have a display to flip it out here. So there you see all the setting mode. You can change settings and stuff like that, and you also, if you connect it, you can see when your camera, you don't see the camera what it's filming, you can also see it here. I never did it because I have an external monitor, but because I think it's too small. But very cool feature, I like that very much. So it is good, it's not bad, it's worth the money. Yeah, maybe if it's 100 bucks cheaper for me, then it were very, very good. But so I would say it's okay. And there you have different settings, low and focus and power focus, I think so. And yeah, give it a try. I'm gonna say it's a 4 out of 5. It's very good.
This is the ZHIYUN Weebill 2. If you know me, you'll know I've been a massive fan of the Weebill series. I had the original Weebill Lab and I've been using the Weebill S daily for almost 2 years now. This is the latest version and I was buzzing to get hold of it. But I think ZHIYUN have kind of missed the mark and I don't think I'll be using this gimbal regularly. Okay, so let's start with the facts and the things that you've seen in gimbals before but still worth a mention. So we've still got those lever locks up here from the Weebill S, which is good for sort of tightening and loosening the plate up here, which again is a Manfrotto capable plate. Then you've got the locks for the axis here, so you can lock each individual axis while you're balancing. Obviously that's really, really handy. Then you've got the trigger at the back, of course, and analog stick at the front, and then a little lever here to change between the different modes, pan lock and pan follow. We'll get into that in a minute because that doesn't actually work the way you think it does. So with that out of the way, let's get to some of the positive changes they've made to this gimbal, starting with the motors. Now obviously with the Weebill S and the Weebill Lab, the focus was on being compact, small and great for travel, but because of that you did have to sacrifice some of the motor strength. That meant that some gimbals like the Ronin S and the Crane 2 always had the upper hand in terms of the motor strength, but I feel like with the Weebill 2 they've really caught up. The newest motors are clearly stronger, it just feels sturdier, the movements feel better, and it doesn't wobble as much when you're doing precise movements or you've balanced it a tiny bit wrong, for example. Often happens at weddings when you're in a rush, you just need to get balanced and get going straight away. I feel like they've also made the arms a bit bigger, so you can balance front heavier setups a bit more, and obviously because those motors are a little bit stronger, front heavier setups aren't a problem for this gimbal. Now onto the thing that all YouTubers have been raving about, it's this, the flip out touchscreen. To be fair, the touchscreen is very responsive and it does make it easier to change settings and check things at a glance. It's a nice touch and it is a little bit better than using the old screens on the Weebill Lab and the Weebill S. And that brings me nicely to the negatives of this gimbal. Now at the beginning of this video you might have heard me say that I don't recommend this gimbal, and these negatives will explain why. And starting again with that screen. At the end of the day, the screen is just a gimmick in my opinion. It's not necessarily needed, it adds extra bulk, and I don't see what was wrong with the old formula of just having the tiny little screen on the middle of the Weebill S. And yeah, you can connect your camera up to the screen, use it as a feed, and I think there's some tracking features involved in there somewhere as well. But 99% of the people who were using Weebill gimbals before won't have been using those features anyway. Now let's get onto the weight and size, and this thing is bulky. Part of the joy of the Weebill series was that it was small, it was lightweight and perfect for travel. That has gone out the window with this gimbal. The extra weight is something that you'll feel on a full day of shooting, and yeah, you can just hit the gym or whatever, but at the end of the day I like to keep my things lightweight and travel friendly, and this just is not that. Now onto the controls. They've all been moved around, it looks great, but they're just in the wrong place if you're not right-handed. This gimbal is heavily right-handed based, especially for the analog stick. The stick is impossible to use if you carry the gimbal with your left hand. The pan follow, lock and follow buttons are still there, but unfortunately there's nothing for POV mode anymore, which I use a lot for dance shots. Interestingly enough as well, you also have to reset the pan, follow and lock switch every time you turn the gimbal off and on. Why? Let's talk quickly about the pan smoothness. Now out of the box this thing is quite jerky. It's either going full speed left or right, or it's just steady. You can adjust the settings, but for me none of them seem to actually do anything. I was adjusting the deadband, the smoothness, the speed, and none of it was changing anything about the gimbal whatsoever. It was so frustrating on a wedding day trying to dial in the settings that I wanted to get those smooth shots, and for some reason it just wasn't responding to any of the changes I was making on that touchscreen. I'm definitely finding at the moment that the Weebill S was smoother in that pan motion, or smoother from going from still to panning. And finally, vibration problems. Now, I've had a ton of experience balancing gimbals. I've had one pretty much since day one of my video career, and I balanced them pretty much in a couple of minutes at a wedding. So I was actually surprised when I started balancing this gimbal. I thought it was balanced correctly, but it gave me this horrible vibrating noise. For some reason, sometimes when I go up to a high motor strength, it does that vibrating, even when the camera is perfectly balanced. And so with heavier lenses, I still have to go to a low motor strength, which kind of defeats the point in the motors being stronger in the first place. Even when I'm doing auto calibration, it calibrates and then it decides it doesn't want to play and does the vibration again. Again, this kind of defeats the point in the motors being stronger, but I'm hoping this is something that can be fixed with firmware down the line. Overall though, there's no denying those motors work really well when they work, and I was able to get some great stable footage from it. Finally, the battery life. On the old Weebill gimbals, the battery would easily last me a day of shooting, maybe even 2 at a push. But what's even better is the batteries are removable, so if they did run out I could just replace them quite easily on the day. For some reason on the Weebill 2, they've decided not to make the batteries removable, so now we have this built-in battery that we have to charge by USB-C, and it's not that great either. I have seen reviews that say this won't last a full day of shooting. It did actually last me a full day of shooting, but it was a bit touch and go with the battery towards the end. I think this gimbal has really lost the joy of the Weebill range. It's heavier, it's bulkier, the controls are in the wrong place, and there's definitely some software issues to be ironed out. For me, I'm balancing small cameras like the A7S III and Tamron lenses, every now and then a Sigma 24-70, but I'd much rather use the Weebill S for stuff like that. But if you are trying to balance an R5 or an R6, for example, with one of the heavy RF lenses, until now I don't think you've really had an option with the Weebill range, and I think this does cover that with the stronger motors. That's it from me. I've been Chris Spice. I'll see you in the next one.
Alright, today we are going to be unboxing the Weebill 2. I've actually had the Weebill S for a little bit, so I'm pretty excited to kind of see some of the updates they've put on this guy. And I'm really interested, especially with the new monitor that they've added, but there's also just a bunch of other features that I'm just real curious about. Right off the bat, I mean, the material feels great. I think one of the first things that I notice right away is this grip. When you have the Weebill S, all the buttons are on the back right here, so even though you can kind of lock everything, if you're not going to be using grips, you know, the buttons do kind of get in the way. This, right off the bat, the first thing I noticed is that they got the buttons right here on the side, which I think is really cool. They got the joystick here, the follow focus here, lock mode, follow mode right here. And this is just a much better design right away. I mean, the grip alone, I mean, is just phenomenal. So one of the biggest features that I was really curious about is this flip out screen right here, and I'm just a big fan of it right away. I just love how this actually flips and folds away. Just the compact size of that alone is just awesome. If you probably compare the size, it's probably the same to my Sony A7C flip out screen. So if that's a little bit of a comparison to kind of help you figure out what you're looking at. But usually when I was using my gimbal, I was using my external monitor. But having this feature here, I think is just so much, it's so convenient. It's one less thing to add on to the whole rig. These things can get real heavy as you start adding on gear. So I think having this flip out screen right here is just gonna solve so much of that problem right away. Obviously they also still have the looks like the tripod that you can put on the bottom. This is where you're really going to want to set it up to kind of do your setup at first, so that's always nice. And the other thing I like is that with the top part you could kind of go from low and tilt to forward. I think that's just such a great movement. even for stability, if you wanted to stay up, that's just such a nice thing to be able to do, and then go straight away to a low angle mode. So besides coming with this other tripod, let's see what else comes in the box. I just want to make sure they actually have the plate, which you're going to need to actually mount your camera on. Looks like this is the charging cable, the USB to USB-C. A couple other cords in there actually, let's see. Micro to USB-C, USB-C to USB-C, micro, USB-C. So pretty much got every cable you probably need for a different variety. Couple of screws. This is for the mounting onto the plate. One of the other biggest features that I also like is that the battery is completely internal now. Before you had to, there was a way to kind of slide out, take the batteries out, and they gave you a charger, and you'd have to put it in the charger and kind of bring that everywhere. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I didn't really want to bring it. It would kind of be one less thing that I'd want to carry. However, there were plenty of times that I actually ended up using so much of the battery I didn't need to charge it, and it's just, now they got this internal battery and it's a USB-C charging outlet right here, which is great. It's just, that's also, you know, my favorite. All my cables are pretty much USB-C now for everything. It charges so much faster, but the fact that it's internal and you can just bring the cable and just plug that in directly, I mean, that convenience factor is just so much better. No more taking out the battery and putting it on another charger, all that. That convenience alone is huge to me. So from what I know also is that I think if for like a one click, I think it allows you to kind of get rebalanced, and then you can actually hit it 3 times and it's actually going to spin the camera around, and then you can do like a vlog mode. Once again, I haven't tried this myself at all, so I can't really comment on the functionality of it. I'm kind of just, this is more of an unboxing right now for you guys. This is just my first time even holding this thing. Yeah, I think this is a great design. I'm really excited to kind of take this out in the field and get some real hands-on footage. But I'm already impressed already, and I'm really curious to see kind of how the resolution of this kind of monitor is as you kind of use it with your DSLR. Appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this review was a little bit helpful.